Welcome back to Castlevania Ravenloft RPG. Last we left our heroes, some had returned from the dead and began strangling their favorite butler, only to find themselves in control of their own actions once again. So that is where we currently are. What do you guys want to do? Silence. We want to not be choked. This is a great reunion. You guys have went through a lot to sacrifice a witch in return for getting your friend back. Once again, she is now living, a little bit of blood-stained, but she is there. She looks shaken up, screaming herself awake back into life as a newborn child that may be haunted by whatever she's seen beyond the veil. Not everybody at once.
Got her.
Is she still strangling Jeeves?
No, she released him.
Yeah,
She released him of her own accord.
Thankfully, she snapped out of it pretty quick. So I'm gonna try and calm her down. Try and reassure her that everything's okay. Once again.
Jeeves, I'm so sorry. My head is killing me. Please, is there a bath?
Van Richten says, "I'm sorry, my lady, but there's no bath. Not here. Whenever I wish to bathe, I go down to Lake Zarovich."
What are you drinking?
Vodka and Sprite.
Okay.
Welcome home.
Speaking of the lake, Jack, I saw you go off to the north and to shake those werewolves. What happened over there? You were gone for a while.
It's Jack.
Jack.
Jack, you with us?
Oh no.
Jack, we can't hear you. Okay, no more asking Jack questions until he can hear us.
Alexander turns to Rictavio and frowns. Rictavio, I'm so sorry. I know the price that was paid last time you brought me back to life. I never meant for you to have to do this again.
Rictavio looks as if it takes him a second to recognize the name, and then looks at Mr. Jeeves.
Jeeves is a deep shit.
I don't recall telling Alexandria his your name. Did I do that? Out of character?
She called him Rictavio. I thought Rudolph von Richten was the hidden name.
Oh. Yeah, I was like, wait a second. Okay. So,
Pizza.
okay.
Did you get one of these or one of these? Because I got this.
Whatever's in the trash can, dear.
There's two of them in there.
Yeah, I had both.
So one was sugar and one without.
I guess. Please, my friends, continue. Jeeves was saying something about, what now?
We lost Mark.
Did we?
Yeah, he dropped off Discord.
Yeah, he did.
Wow, our luck tonight's amazing.
Still haven't heard Jack either.
Well, I'm glad it's not just my technical difficulties putting us off an
Apparently
hour.
not, sir.
That makes me feel a little better. Well, I would like to play some Order of Ecclesia. So, is that how
Oh
you
my
say
god,
that?
Brent, really?
Ecclesia?
I thought it was
That was bad. I can't. 1 second.
What am I missing?
Look at what Brent
look
just
at
typed in the fantasy crowd.
Bueller? Oh, hey, Jack. Jack.
Mark said he's
Can
on
you
his
hear
way
us?
back.
Oh, he says he can't hear us.
Mark's on his way back too.
Why is my bot not
Jack,
playing music?
Mark, Bueller.
Bueller?
Is the bot even in our Discord?
No, it's not.
Ugh. Technology. Why are you doing this to me? Always. Why are you always fucking me? Alright. Bot. Run bot script, please. Okay, well,
Mark's back.
Maybe.
welcome back.
Hey, Mark.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
You're quite quiet,
Here's
but
a
we
bot.
can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, found a little girl.
There's a Logan.
I'm not sure what happened. My computer logged me off.
It's a quick restart. Okay, so someone
Yes.
had asked Logan, or someone had asked Jack. I don't know what they asked. Let's get back.
It was
Elias did.
It was me. I was asking, so Rictavio mentioned that whenever he bathes, he goes up to the lake to do that. And I said, speaking of the lake, we saw Jack fly off in that direction to shake the werewolves, and he was gone for quite a while. So Elias was wondering what happened.
Dire
one of
wolves.
those I didn't feel like sharing. Found a little girl in a boat, pulled her out of a lake. Couldn't save her kidnapper. He's fish man food. And found a new use for a sow. Then played around with the suspicious deer, went into a random mansion, and now I have a little girl. Say hi to Arabelle.
That sounds like that sounds like an entire day. A deer. A deer and a mansion. Those two don't really add up. What do you mean by that?
That goddamn deer.
The same deer?
Yes, the same deer. It recognized us and remembered me, but not for long. Also, I'm a cleric now.
What?
What?
Yep, channeling the power of a god. That's me.
So you're a rogue, sorcerer, were-raven, cleric man, joker.
I take offense to that rogue part, especially since it's no longer true. I mean, I still have my roguish good looks, but I don't think anything but a fire could take those away.
I can't wrap my head around this. I'm going for a bath.
I'm going to escort Alexandra back to the inn for a bath.
You stay away from me.
The inn is quite far away. Are you two going to travel alone to a town? You're currently at Van Richten's tower. Let me show you exactly where that's
I
at.
think she was going to the water outside the lake.
Oh, yeah, Lake Baratok actually is what I meant to say, not Lake Zarovich.
Oh, okay.
Which is, all around you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So she can bathe,
Okay.
in the lake there. It's not a dangerous journey at all.
So you don't have to watch her like an old perv. You can hang out here.
I think that Mr. Jeeves used to bathe her, so it's probably okay.
Yes.
Does he still bathe her? I mean,
Oh dear God.
Oh.
Not recently, no.
Alexandra, does Mr. Jeeves still
No.
bathe
No.
you? A sponge in hand, willing to do
And if
his
you
duty.
come near me, I will kill you.
yeah, I'm just saying he should probably stay in here.
Yeah, that's probably wise.
What fun is that? No, I'm just kidding. Alright. Well, I expect fan art from this scene, but
Oh no.
Oh, God.
Favors for favors, Mike.
what? What? I don't know what favors you want from me. Anyways, okay.
I will collect my debt later.
So Alexandra goes out to the lake and begins washing the blood off of her freshly renewed body. She has 1 hit point, by the way.
Well, I'll
She's
have to
not
take care of
feeling.
that.
She's feeling on the edge of death already. You know.
Well, if we had covered that before she walked out, I could have healed her some. But
Well, she's not quite at the door yet. If you want to do anything, Brent.
okay, yes. Well, before you go, Alexander, let me take care of some of your wounds here.
Not for you, why?
And by the way, it is good to see you with us once more. I'm sorry what happened.
I don't want to think about it, any of it.
I'm sure. Alright, so I'm going to cast Cure Wounds as a 3rd level spell, so that should be pretty good. Let's see. On a sheet. Here we go. Hey. Not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all. Alexandra, you're feeling much better as Elias's holy power pours into you life. You feel like it's a lot easier now to walk around and reach the lake to wash off some of the gore that was inflicted upon you.
And by the way, in the combat tracker, she already has 71 full HP. So
I fixed it. I added the wound points to my own sheet.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Teamwork. Alright, so while Alexandra is taking a moment of privacy to collect herself after such a devastating event, finding herself at the bottom of a pit, does anyone else want to do anything?
I'm good.
Playing with Arabelle.
Yes, Arabelle is quite the lively child for some kid that was just on the brink of death and almost drowned. She playfully kind of introduces herself to the rest of the people there in the tower. And she's just the epitome of a young Vistani girl who just loves life. The bright colors she wears is in stark contrast to the droll clothing that you usually see in the villagers of Valaki or the village of Barovia. Seeing her dancing around a campfire to the music of her people is what you would normally think of just by glancing at her. She sticks out like a sore thumb in this dismal place.
They have a body to dispose of too. Just a reminder.
It's true. This is true.
Yeah.
Just take it to the lake with you. Fine.
I am not touching it.
Well, one thing at a time. We haven't had much time to digest what's going on.
Van Richten
So, yeah,
says, I can ask this body questions if you need me to interrogate.
Well, that wasn't creepy or ominous.
Speaking with the dead is something that is within my abilities.
Well, I can't imagine she would have much nice to say, sir.
If she had any information that would be relevant to your interest in Valaki, then if there's anything that she would answer normally, willingly, as alive, she would do so the same in death. It's not exactly her soul speaking, so it's not a real intrusion.
Ask her if all the other women on the list were really witches. Except Alexander's still outside, so you can't hear me saying that.
I don't know. I don't know. Elias, do you want to ask her anything?
I'd rather not disturb the woman any further than we have. I can't really think of what I would want to know personally. If there's some matter within the town that Jack wanted to pursue, I think this would be his field.
Van Richten looks to Mr. Jeeves and says, "My old friend, do you think that Alexandra will be up to the task of completing our mission?"
I think time will tell. I believe she is, but it'll take some time still.
I must apologize for my earlier outrage at seeing her fallen once again. This is not easy for me.
Yes, understandable. I can only hope this is the last time that we have to do this.
It's hard for me to tell if the outburst she just gave us was something different or the same Alexandra. I'm not quite certain myself. What do you think, Jeeves?
I'd like to think that was the old Alexandra just being startled. She's been, well, I wouldn't say she was prone to little outbursts if she was startled, but I don't know. I'm sure being dead for so long is not good for the soul.
Yes, I have a few questions for her personally, but those will have to wait.
Van Richten looks at Jeeves and says, "You have no idea what I've had to go through to get this far in this place. What I've had to sacrifice, what I've had to lose."
I understand. I have a good idea. I can't, begin to compare, but I've got a good idea of what you've been through.
No, I think you may understand at least a little. Losing a child and losing Alexandra must be close to the same thing.
Indeed.
And you've had to do this twice. I've only had to do it once.
It's, like I say, hopefully twice is enough.
By all that is holy, I hope that you are correct.
Rictavio, a moment.
Privately?
Van Richten, I mean.
It's all the same to me, my friend. Would you like to speak in private or here with our other companions?
This matter is best handled in private.
Well then, he invites you over to the large square platform in the middle of the room that is connected to 4 chains. And then he just kind of motions you over towards it.
Brother Elias, look after Arabella a moment, won't you?
Certainly, Jack.
Follow Van Richten up the chain.
Okay. Let me click the right things on my screen here. Okay. He takes you to the 4th floor. So you bypass a floor slowly, very slowly, as the 4 statues beneath that were holding the chains at each 4 corners of this platform, they begin to animate and pull the chains slowly. A very laborious process. You begin to rise. And as it rises, you see the 3rd floor. The 3rd floor shows that that time and elements have all but destroyed this chamber, leaving a gash in the northwest wall and slimy black mildew on the walls. A wooden floor is completely rotted and has begun to fall away in places. So this tower appears very old. But finally you reach the 4th floor. Unlike the levels below, this room shows signs of recent habitation. It's obviously where Rudolf van Richten lives. and although this place reeks of mold and mildew, it has plenty of creature comforts, including a cozy bed, a desk with matching chair, bright tapestries, a large iron stove with plenty of wood to feed it. Light enters through the arrow slits, as well as through dirt-cake windows with broken shutters. Other features of this room include a standing suit of armor and a wooden chest. Old wooden rafters bend under the weight of the tower roof, which has somehow remained intact after all the time that this old tower looks as if it's been part of history. Mounted to the rafters are pulleys around which hang iron chains that support the tower's elevator platform. Eventually you reach the top of this platform, and Van Richten offers the chair to you.
Jack puts his butt on the desk and leans on it backwards.
And with that, Rudolph Van Richten graciously pulls the chair out and sits in it. You have his full attention.
Does the name Mordenkainen mean anything to you?
Well, yes, but of course, he is the famous wizard that has created many spells.
I believe that I met him. Spent the night in his mansion.
His mansion as in the spell?
As in the original spell. You know how for anyone else it's something like a heat haze and just a little doorway, a portal? Well, he summoned a mansion.
It takes a great, powerful wizard to summon such a mansion, I agree. But what makes you think that this person would be Mordenkainen himself?
He remembered the names Big B and Tensor.
As would any person familiar with magic.
He also only really remembers the spell from Mordenkainen and remembers fighting Strahd and living.
I have heard rumors that some wizard had fought Strahd. But to think that that would be the great Mordenkainen is a bit absurd, wouldn't you agree?
Oh, I'd agree, but I think a lot of things are absurd. To some back home, changing into a wolf is absurd, or a crow. Fighting a vampire as a human is absurd. The concept of a vampire is absurd. Really, most of what we do before breakfast is considered absurd in a lot of places. That being said, I met a powerful wizard who's under some very strong enchantment. Again, fought Strahd and lived.
Jack, I don't assume that you're one of the common folk that you pretend to be. It's obvious that you have some connection to the Belmonts, and if that's true, then you know that hunting vampires is all but commonplace to us, and such things as magic is also commonplace. Anyone that is familiar with magic knows the names of Tensor and Bigby and Mordenkainen. Perhaps you are just delusional. What makes you think there's evidence for this person, this wizard that may have fought Strahd, to be the famous Mordenkainen?
Pop silent image of the wizard's face.
I would not know what Mordenkainen looked like.
What the spell doesn't show is the aura of power, and even if it's not, again, powerful wizard, he would be a potent ally against Strahd. I assume you would still like him dead.
I agree that having Mordenkainen here in the realm of Barovia would be very intriguing as someone to defeat Strahd von Zarovich. However, that is quite the most powerful vampire that the Belmonts have ever seen. Maybe only excluding the one that began our quest as a clan to find Matthias and defeat him. However, it would take more than just anecdotal auras and power to make me believe that Mordenkainen was here.
Again, does it really matter? Fought Strahd and lived.
This is true, but his being this identity that you claim is quite absurd. Is it necessary to whatever that you have to talk with me about?
It is, because I would like very much to help this man, whoever he is.
Well, that's the key.
He aided me,
Whoever
among
he
other things.
is, does he have to be Mordenkainen for you to wish to help him?
Not at this point, although that would be helpful. So I'm kind of hoping.
Well, let's just refer to your newly found friend as your suspicious wizard.
Fine. Well, this suspicious wizard is, and he lists off the symptoms. Does that sound like anything you've ever heard of? It sounds like a very powerful memory enchantment.
Well, if you truly believe that it is magical in nature, then yes, a feeble mind spell sounds like it would possibly be affecting this man that you speak of. However, this is a man that fought Strahd. He may have survived, but he certainly did not defeat him. Do you think that Mordenkainen would not be able to defeat such a vampire?
I think we are in a realm ruled by a vampire who's been ruled by the same vampire since the realm's inception. And given the nice people we've met, I'd be willing to bet the cutthroats are a lot worse.
I have scoured this land for the good people that you may be speaking of. I have found it lacking. What hope do you see in this place? I would love to hear it. Because I have spent most of my life here, and I can tell you that I regret all of it.
Well, after we've all defeated Strahd with your aid, which I'm sure will prove invaluable, you can come back and tell me all about it. Assuming, of course, we both survive.
Come back and tell you all about it in the future. You speak in the future, I speak of the past. Do you know how long I have been in this place? Do you know what I have sacrificed to be here? Just for the chance?
No, do you know what I just sacrificed?
What?
I don't think so. It's not relevant.
Please, go, tell me.
Freedom. Put simply, I'm a god's bitch. Or a demon. Not sure.
Freedom. Freedom leaves this place as soon as you cross the mists, my friend. You are trapped here, as am I.
But I don't consider that a negative thing.
Yes,
There are
but
plenty
you
of
don't...
people to help here, and my quarry. Yours too.
Giving your freedom is one thing, but giving the freedom of another... Do you think that you can do that, Jack? Do you think that you can sacrifice the freedom of someone that you don't control whatsoever? The freedom of someone that...
I fed you 2 people.
Yes, you
One of
fed them
whom
to
I'm not
me.
sure
And
has done
who is the one that
anything
sacrificed them? I am the one. I am the one responsible
Yes.
for those souls. Their blood is
The
on my
majority of the
hand.
burden has fallen. Some blood, not all of it. I'd be willing to say the lion's share, however.
Van Richten breathes a deep breath, and he takes a moment, an awkward and tense moment of silence before he exhales. The look on his face only conveys pain and then patience. He looks at you after a moment of internal struggle before saying, "I'm sorry, Jack. I've been in this place too long. It's not your fault. The decisions I've made are my own. You're not responsible for them. I apologize for sounding so harsh."
I didn't expect it was my fault. I thank you for your apology, but we have more important matters right now. Like killing Strahd and possibly getting out of here.
What can I do for this wizard that you mentioned?
I'm really just hoping you have some idea how to fix it. Some lead, some place to start.
My source of magic lies in restoration in the divine, not the arcane. If there was something I could do to help, I certainly would, my friend. We've been through a lot together.
Have you heard nothing? I've heard stories of panaceas and great medicines and all manner of things, but nothing concrete enough to help us here.
Yes, it seems the best healer of this damned land has disappeared.
Who's that? because that would be a lead.
Did you catch that, Mike?
No, what?
He said, "Who's that?" Because that would be a lead.
The best healer of this land was Lisa, of the Barovian village. She has disappeared. I know not where she is.
Jack swears very long and loudly.
And what do you know of Lisa of Barovia that would elicit such a reaction from you, Mr. Jack?
Oh, nothing. Just she's the target of Strahd's affection. He wants her. He doesn't know where she is. So we have suspicions and enchantments to bring her back to Strahd.
You believe she is Strahd's target?
Well, Strahd pretty much told us so himself. So yes.
Van Richten completely stops and just puts his hands in his face. He puts his elbows on his knees in the chair, and you know that he's weeping. Like there's no other way to convey what you're seeing other than an old man weeping in a chair.
Like, check your PMs really quick.
So, Jack, you see this old man just break down and cry. He's trying to contain it, but it looks like...
Very awkwardly reaches out his hand. There. Hang on.
There, and what? What you say might be more important than your dice rolls.
That's... Okay, give me just a second. The battle is not lost so long as men continue to fight. You yourself are living proof of that. Me and my friends, much less experienced proof. Evil wins when good men fail to act.
With that, he stands up, pushing the chair back behind him. The chair topples on the floor. Van Richten looks extremely seriously at you, tears streaming down his face. And he says, You must destroy the evil in this land.
Yes, working on it.
If you fail, my soul is damned forever. The things I've done, you have no idea. You have no idea what I've done to get to this point, to bring you all this far. You must take Alexander.
Hold up. Wait. Stop. You did what now?
I have made many sacrifices.
Including us. Okay, yes, I see.
He doesn't argue at that.
You are responsible for bringing us here. Wait a second. Does his face look like the one in the mist?
No. The face in the mist you
That
recognize
was
is
Strahd.
similar to Strahd. But in hindsight, you believe that the face in the mist was simply Strahd noticing that you had entered his domain.
Jack breathes deep and says, I understand.
You may understand whatever you think, but you have no idea. You have no idea what it takes to stay here this long in this damned land. I am a prisoner as much as you. And if you do not destroy the evil in this land, everything that I have worked for is for nothing. With that, let's go back downstairs to the first floor of the tower and see how Mr. Jeeves and Elias are getting along. Alexandra is still bathing in Lake Baratok.
Actually, I was going to have her finish up, but okay.
Well, Elias is with Arabelle, and he's trying to get some more information of what had happened to her and what happened with Jack while this was all going on.
Sure. Arabelle says, in the most adorable manner that a Vistani child could, she tells the tale, as Vistanis are great at doing, of how she was abducted by a man, thrown into a burlap sack, and taken out to go fishing. In that fishing trip, she was thrown into the water, only to be saved and resuscitated by a mostly naked man in a feather cape. And that's all she talks about afterwards, is how much she adores Jack Motley. Her savior.
Oh, God.
Well, I'm glad that turned out well for you. It sounded quite traumatizing to me, but I'm glad that turned out well, and I'm glad that you guys are getting along. So I take it you had a safe travel to here?
Yes, there's nothing to intrude upon us finding the rest of his friends. I think that he could find anything he wanted to. He found me, didn't he?
Yes, he is quite resourceful and quite an intelligent man. But I am a bit worried. Did anyone else hear something fall over upstairs? Was that a chair? Are they
Jack
fighting?
was probably swearing loud enough to her.
Yeah. So we're overhearing some of the what's going on upstairs and curious about the conversation.
Yes, and there seems to be no way to get up unless you plan on climbing the chains. The elevator that these animated statues or golems seem to operate have left the platform at the top of the 4th floor.
Okay. And it would be kind of inappropriate for Jeeves to just climb up there. So
I mean, he could. He's got the feet to do it, if anyone did.
Yeah. It'd be kind of unsettling for an old man to be crying, and Jeeves just like climbs on the side of the wall and looks at him like, "Hey."
Stick my head up. Yo. No. They'll be okay. I'm sure they're not fighting. So.
Yes, I would hope not. I'm sure it's just a passionate conversation, but.
I think out of experience, Jeeves would know that if Van Richten needed him, he would call to him.
Right. And I don't think Jack would fight him anyway. Well, I think Alex should be finishing up from her bath soon.
Alexandra?
Yep. Meanwhile, she has returned from the lakeside. She stands in the doorway for a moment, wringing out her hair so she doesn't drip upon the floor.
Naked?
With her clothes back on. Looking calm but utterly numb, she moves away from the door slowly and nods to the small Vistani girl with a soft smile. As best a smile that one twice dead and clearly soul-tired can manage. She crosses the room away from Elias and Jeeves, and she sits on a barrel.
The little girl whispers to you, "I'm going to marry Jack."
Oh my god.
She's 7 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make sure I get an invite to the wedding, child.
You can be my bridesmaid.
I look forward to it.
All right, Jack. Tears still streaming down Van Richten's face. He's trying to compose himself. What you're witnessing is a man at his wit's end who has committed more deeds that he thinks is for the greater good, but you can tell all of those deeds weren't exactly good. He's not broken, but he's close.
Are you willing to give up the fight?
Willing to give up? No. I will give everything I have to this. I already have.
Doing good up until that last sentence.
He lets you know that he's resurrected Alexandra twice at the expense of his own soul, and he is not willing to give up any inch of this fight.
Good. That's exactly what I wanted to hear.
I wish I could help your wizard friend, but I've helped as much as I can. The only thing I have left to lose is Alexandra and Jeeves, and perhaps the owner of the wagon that sits outside of my tower.
Well, on the plus side, it looks like our plans haven't changed, aside from maybe to drop off Eric.
I didn't really hear that. Sorry.
Well, on the plus side, it looks like our plans haven't changed, aside from maybe to drop off Arabelle.
I can take care of the girl if you need, or you can find her to her home if you wish. Whatever I can do to help, I will.
Why don't we leave it up to her?
Whatever the little girl wishes, I agree.
And besides, I know you're not exactly fond of Vistani.
Yes. Well. Sorry I've made that fact so obvious.
It's alright, old people get to be a little bigoted.
Well, shall we ask the girl then what she wishes to do?
Yes, let's shall.
He offers his hand in the direction of the platform.
Jack takes it like he's a fancy lady.
All right. Well, you fancily make your way back to the bottom floor, regaining the audience of your friends. Upon asking Arabelle what she wishes to do, she only wants to stay with Jack.
What a surprise.
It might be a surprise to Jack.
Right over his head. Well, sweetie, it's going to be very dangerous. That's not really an option right now.
Well, if she doesn't want to go home, perhaps she could stay with the other ravens and the children there and hang out with them, and you would visit from time to time to the Blue Water Inn. And she doesn't want to go
That
home.
sounds like a grand idea.
Don't you think you should ask them before you impose another child on them?
I'm sure my father is looking for me, but it would be nice to know that Jack would be around often.
How about we drop you off and I agree to come visit sometime?
Okay.
If he doesn't return for the wedding, Arabelle, I'll drag him back by his ear.
Wedding?
The most wide grin, teeth-showing grin you've ever seen from a little girl. She's beaming and looking at Jack.
I feel like a fish on a hook. Actually, no, let me rephrase. I feel like a little worm on a big fucking hook.
It's a 7-year-old girl. She's just infatuated with her savior.
I thought she was the catch, but it appears Jack was.
Yes, well, at least she's not the only one infatuated with her savior. Look at Elias.
You got me there, buddy.
This one's prettier.
Praise be to Jack Motley. Okay, so what are you guys going to do now?
Well, we have a couple of options. We should go on to Kresk and to St. Markovia's Abbey, or we can go back to the Blue Water and drop the girl off. Before we do any of that, though, I'm going to make... I mentioned this offhand to Van Richten before, but I want to make clear to him...
that you are instating a pee break. I understand. And we shall do this immediately.
Go.
BRB.
No.
No, I think Mike has to be.
No, that was Mike saying he had to go to the bathroom.
Oh, okay.
Wow, Brent.
Do, 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 do.
Can we not hum the Jeopardy theme while he's taking a piss, please?
Not yet.
And God took a piss.
Hello, YouTube. Our DM is peeing.
And on the seventh day, God urinated and thought, "This is good, for I have had one too many myself."
And was much relieved.
This is all recording. That's what he gets for leaving OBS running.
Hey, Mike. Kind of hard to go with all this pressure, isn't it, Mike?
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal. Send me a kiss by wire. Baby, my heart's on fire. If you refuse me, honey, you lose me. Then you'll be left alone. Oh, baby, telephone and tell me I'm your own. That's what you get, Mike. Oh, come on, let the rest of you die.
Nope. Just listening to you sing.
I'm done.
Yeah, you ran it.
It's just being a smartass.
I'm not injured.
Okay.
Oh, he's coming.
There he is.
Here he is.
Quick, everybody, shush.
Okay,
Party's over.
party's over. Alexandra.
It's going to be hilarious when he listens to the
I know, right?
Alexandra, you know when you die, you lose control of all bodily functions?
Oh my god.
Oh, no.
Hence why she bathed.
Yeah, it's a good thing you bathed. Okay, Brent, you were saying.
Yes. So I mentioned it offhand earlier to Van Richten. I think he was kind of distracted before, but Elias wants to approach him and say, "Sir, I don't know if you caught the full extent of the conversation earlier, but I have found the spearhead of Longinus, and the Blue Water Tavern are folks there are trying to make a full spear out of it for us to use against Strahd. That is a certain piece of progress for sure. And I've also purified a site to the south where the swamps are of a powerful vampire, and there are two other sites where I believe if I complete those, the full purification of the sites around this land, that Strahd will actually hold almost no power except inside Castle Ravenloft itself, as told to me from his tome, which I've purposed and read far enough to see exactly what gives him strength and what makes him seem so untouchable. I think if we follow these steps, we will certainly be able to strike him down.
You said that you have purified a site. What do you know about perhaps the other sites? Is there something that you can do now to weaken him?
Well, I only know of the general geographic locations of them. The one that I touched and had my my effect on was the swamps. There's also the forests and the mountains. If you have any knowledge of where these sites might be, that would be very helpful.
I do know that his strongest allies are the werewolves, and they exist in the forests. The mountains are very impassable, but they have a gate I could not breach. It was guarded by two powerful demons. Perhaps that's the other spot you seek.
I see. And yes, I think we were seeking out the the werewolves of the forest anyway. And Elias looks at Jack briefly.
Jack produces the potato. Yes, we were. Smile.
Right.
Yes, Jack has a starchy surprise for a certain werewolf, I believe. But yes, yes, sir. I just wanted to give you some hope, as I can see on your face that you seem to have lost what you might have once had, as far as your motivation for this goal and this mission. I wanted to give you some hope, as much as I could give.
I have lost everything I could lose at this point. There's nothing left but hope for me, anyway.
I see. Thank you again for your help, sir, and all that you've done for us, and helping the party with Alexandra again, sir. We can never thank you enough.
Also, Jack will go through some exercises with him and minor image until he gets the image of who he's looking for exact.
Oh, okay. So you're going through his descriptions, basically like someone showing a policeman a mugshot, and refining that until you get it as close as he can agree to be good enough.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, you do so. What you appear to find is a very beautiful and musty Vistani lady. She looks extremely young and has flowered early, as far as you can tell. He informs you that it's been some amount of years since he's last seen her, but you think that someone of this magnitude of beauty, that it would be hard for you to miss. You only wish that you had spent so much time with the servant so long ago that had seen the scarred man to get a more accurate description than Van Richten is just giving you for this person.
And this is the owner of the wagon outside.
Yes. That's what Van Richten believes, anyway.
Okay. Yes, we certainly have not seen this person so far.
Yes, you're absolutely sure of that. Jack would have known if you'd come across this person.
You're damn right I would!
I mean, she was pretty young back when Van Richten gave the description, but young and supple.
So, can we...
looks at Arabelle.
Not that young.
Oh, Elias was going to ask Arabelle if she looked familiar to her.
To who?
If the description that was given of this woman looked familiar to Arabelle, if they're both Vistani women.
Oh no, Arabelle has never seen anyone that looks like that, and has never seen magic as such. So she is extremely impressed with Jack's ability to conjure these 3D images in real time and space.
Jack, you're just digging yourself deeper, dude.
Yeah. Oh. That's what you get for taking a child under your wing so easily.
Yeah, basically at this point you're the David Bowie in Labyrinth to this girl.
Oh, Lord.
I'll need a bigger codpiece.
No, you had no codpiece. You were completely naked, but you had a feather cloak. I mean, as much as
I would have needed some codpiece.
This is getting weird. I'm just going to skip this part.
Yeah.
All right, next.
He just means a fish, cod, Arabelle. Don't worry about that.
Anyways. All right. So you feel a moment of urgency that you need to move if you're going to be effective in this finding of this person, in this reason for bringing Alexandra back from the dead a second time, in getting this girl and saving her from drowning, and it all culminates into this moment of urgency. What would you like to do next?
We need to make sure the girl is safe. Let's take her back to Vallaki and be on our way to Kresk.
I'm agreeable to that.
That sounds good.
First and foremost, though, we probably should find a change of clothes for her. I can imagine they won't welcome her there.
She says, my clothes are fine. This is what my father dressed me in.
They're beautiful, my dear, but the town of Vallaki does not welcome your kind. They don't like Vistani, and I want to make sure you're safe.
You can't take me to Vallaki. No, my father said never to go in the city. We're to the south of that. Please, and she looks at Jack. Please don't take me to Vallaki. They'll burn me.
Jack opens his mouth and then quickly closes it. Look at Van Richten. Are you sure she will be safe here?
I will take very good care of her, but I believe that Vistani should be best left to their own.
We should bring her back to her father, then.
Look at Elias.
Yes, that seems most natural. Unless you heard different on your journey that they didn't want her for some reason. It seems odd that she's away from her folks for this long as it is.
Arabelle, did your family give you up?
No, I was taken.
Well, then that solves it, gentlemen. We're returning her to her parents.
All right.
Jack looks pensive. I want to, I just don't know about time.
Alex is already heading towards the door.
Van Richten offers very reluctantly. He says, Jack, I don't get along with Vistani at all, but if you wish, I will take her back to wherever she says she comes from. You can be on your way if you wish, or you can take her yourself. I'm just not well known in those circles. Or not known well in those circles.
I want to take her, but I really think we're losing time.
If it wouldn't be imposing too much, please, Rictavio.
Yes, for you I will do this.
We are forever in your debt.
To be quite honest, I would rather keep her here. I'll make sure she's taken care of.
Yes, we have no guarantee against someone else of the same persuasion kidnapping her. We don't know enough about that situation yet to really judge. Jack, do you have any idea of what the intention or motive was?
Jack looks at Elias, and in Elias's head, but not out loud, Elias hears someone say, I want to leave her here with Rictavio. I only must know that she's safe.
Kneeling down, Alex pushes a bit of Arabelle's hair out of her face and smiles. What would you like to do, dear? Short of staying with Jack.
I just want to be with Jack.
And you will be one day, I promise. I'll drag him back so you can be married and happy.
You
But
promise?
right now, where would you like to be?
You promise I can be married to Jack?
I promise.
Pinky swear?
Oh, no. Are
I
you
will
sure?
drag him back by his ear.
She holds out her hand with her pinky extended.
Joke's on you, ravens don't have ears.
Alexander reaches out quickly and grabs Jack's hand and links his pinky with Arabelle's.
Okay. Jack, do you want to resist this touch attack?
God, yes.
Okay. Sunraiser, roll a dexterity modified d20.
She has very good dexterity.
She
Yes, I
is
do.
quite deft. Huh.
Damn.
14. Okay. Jack, roll a dexterity modified d20.
That misses.
Okay, she rolled a 14. Are you sure?
Not. AC 17 passive.
No, not AC. This is just a 20 plus your dexterity modifier, which is 4. Roll a d20 and let me know what you get.
Or not.
I think I feel a pinky swear coming on just because of negligence.
Hang on.
Oh,
Ooh.
Jack yanks his hand back. Jack, as soon as you yank your hand back from Alexandra, you see the little girl looking up at you. I don't know if you heard the conversation going on about her promising to have you married
I heard.
off. Then, yeah, I mean, you were in range enough to grab pinky swear. So, what would you like to do to react to this situation?
I'll pinky swear to ask you again when you're a little older, Arabelle.
Okay, she offers her little pinky up to you then.
Pinky.
All right, you have now sworn an oath to consider it in the future.
She blossoms like the other Vistani. Hey, who knows?
It does seem to be a popular trait of these. Anyways, let's go on. So Van Richten agrees to take the girl to wherever she came from. And you guys use this valuable time to do what?
Did we agree to do that, though? I don't...
Well, Jack agreed, and Alexandra seemed to be on the same page, so I would say yeah. Did you have anything that you wanted to bring up in opposition to this plan?
Well, before Van Richten goes off with the girl and he leaves with her, I would ask him, I will address Van Richten. I don't feel entirely comfortable with leaving her with where she came from because we do not know under what circumstances or what motive she was kidnapped and if it might happen again if she goes back to the same place. I think there must be something going on with the lake, if it's a demon they're making sacrifices to or something. That's what it sounds like to me. I would rather investigate it further before we take her back. But we don't have time to do that right now. That's my thought.
I understand your position on this, Elias. Let me talk to the girl. And he takes a knee, and he beckons the girl over to him, and he says, "Tell me about what happened." And she again explains about how this fisherman had put her in a burlap sack and taken her away. From that, he asked all of you, "Do you know anything about this man in Lake Zarovich? He seems to be a fisherman. Well known if she knows him, and she lives outside of town." Actually,
Yes, I did hear tell of an old drunkard that had frequented the lake quite often. He used to go there daily and never brought back any fish.
Jack, you remember that this man's breath did certainly smell of alcohol.
Oh, he drank.
Is that one of Isaac's stories, Alexandra?
She casts a sharp glare at Elias and says nothing.
Van Richten senses the tension and says, "Well, it seems to me that this man thought that some sacrifice to the lake may have produced more fish than he had previously caught. So perhaps the motive begins and ends at this man."
That would make sense. All right.
I personally would not trust a child in the care of Vistani, but she is Vistani. So if you wish me to take her back, I will.
Yes, perhaps at a later time we will come back to see her and check up on her.
Then, after you leave and you're safely away from the tower, I will take her. Of course, I will make sure there's plenty of daylight left, and she will be safe in my care. I swear it.
All right, and once you arrive...
Do you pinky swear?
He ignores Jack's request for a pinky swear.
If something seems markedly amiss once you arrive, I would ask you to return back to the tower with her in tow. Just if it looks bad there, if some influence over the land has taken hold, if Strahd seems to have a foothold there, I think you might be able to sense it.
Yes, well, I believe that Vistani in general sound like that to me, especially with their association with Strahd. So if you wish for me to keep her away from such, I should just keep her here at the tower until you return again and do what you will with her.
Well, I wouldn't say that per se, sir. We have met good Vistani. There was the old fortune teller who set us upon most of our
You
path.
see him
Elias.
rolling your eyes while you're
Elias.
talking.
No, you can't talk to a racist and a bigot about things they're racist and bigoted to.
Do you say
Especially
that
old
out
men.
loud, Jack?
Yes.
We are wasting daylight, gentlemen.
You may think you may think whatever you will of me, but you don't know what I've been through, what I've sacrificed due to these people and their stupid
You're not.
culture.
You're right. I don't. I know.
You think
how
that they're
are.
aligned with Strahd for no good reason? Do you think that Strahd allows them through in his lands without good reason? They are allies. They are spies. He is the most powerful vampire I've ever met, with maybe one exception only in legend, and I believe these people only wish to help him.
Okay, well, let us be off. We won't get anywhere by arguing the matter. Thank you for taking the girl.
But on another note, if Elias keeps reading that tome, he'll probably find the alliance or lack thereof.
That is true as well.
Octavio, you have my gratitude.
Do you think that all Vistani are the same? No, neither do I. If you find the Vistani that I seek, my protege, then you will understand that I don't think that every Vistani is the same. But I have damn good reason to believe that most are.
I wouldn't doubt it.
With a tense racial moment, you feel it's an appropriate time to exit the door.
Alexander's been trying.
And Rudolf van Richten is giving all signs that welcome is expired.
And where are we off to, gentlemen? Straight to Kresk, or are we stopping at the Abbey?
Kresk, possibly the Abbey.
Abbey is in Markovia, Abbey?
Yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind paying that a visit.
Yes, today is the first time in quite a long time that we haven't had the pressing urge to have to go somewhere, to have to do something. It's almost nice to have the decision not already be made for us.
As the door slams behind you, Rictavio has moved all of you out. Rudolf van Richten is no longer housing you in his tower.
Well, that could have ended better. I didn't think he would get so upset.
Yes, the feeling of racial tension in the air is quite high, and that racing question is left behind with him alone in the tower.
Okay, well, I believe we come upon Kresk before the Abbey along the road anyway. Isn't that correct?
When you refer to the map, you notice that Kresk is not far from the Lake Baratok, and that if you stick to the trail, you'll cross a bridge and then get there within the day. It will be late, but it will be within the day. And that's apparently where the Abbey of St. Markovia is rumored to be, although you do not see it on your map.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, well, we'll be off then. And by the way, Alexandra, if you hadn't noticed, we have a horse and wagon now, so that's been useful so far. All right, guys, shall we go?
Indeed. Let's be off.
All right. On your way, as you move to Kresk, you discover a foot trail that cuts through the wilderness.
Is it wide enough for the cart?
No.
A foot trail, huh? Where is that at? We're still marked on the map at the tower.
Sure. As you continue through, you find it about in this area.
Mm-hmm.
You find a foot trail into the woods here. Too small for your cart to travel, but you could travel on foot if you wish.
Well, we'll at least make note of that, but I don't think we have reason to take it right now.
Does everyone agree?
Unless someone wants to explore it and report back to us.
Anybody else?
Nope.
It's so quiet.
Nope.
Did we lose Jack again?
I would assume so. All right. So
Logan is typing.
Oh, it's rolling.
Wisdom check 11. Oh, that's against his own DCs.
Jack changes into a raven, starts flying.
Into
Okay.
the footpath?
He said, "I will meet up with you later."
Okay. I can't
Then
wait.
let's continue on.
Jack,
Yes.
roll a perception check.
Ooh.
You see a trail that seems to go off into the woods, but it seems to have no obvious destination. What would you like to do in your raven form?
Fly higher, get a better lick.
Okay. After a couple of minutes, are your friends staying behind to wait for you, or are they continuing on?
No.
Okay, so
I move faster. I think you can.
that's fine.
He told us to meet with him later.
That's fine. Okay, so later happens, and you can roll another perception check as a raven. Excellent. Okay, you notice a thin tarp made of twigs and pine needles concealing something below it on part of that trail.
Land nearby, check it out as a raven.
As a raven, your birdie beak pecks away at the tarp, but you can't find really an effective way to check this out as a raven.
Poop on it.
Fly away.
Hybrid.
All right, you turn into a hybrid form. What would you like to do? Investigate this tarp?
Lift it.
When you lift the tarp, you find a pit at the bottom, are pine needles. Looks like sharpened wooden stakes as well. Someone had made a trail and lined it with some kind of trap. Deep pit. Looks pretty deadly.
Keep Alexander away from it.
Alexandra is on her way to Kresk. This is only the hybrid form of Jack Motley.
Drop tarp in it, continue along the path.
All right. The path ends in what seems to be a dead end into the woods. Nothing remarkable beyond that point.
Go back to the pit, show yourself.
No one seems to be there. Seems like you get the idea that maybe someone had laid this pit trap and had probably checked this trap every so often, but you don't know how often that is. They're currently not there. Excellent perception check. It lets you learn everything I gave you for free anyway. I'm sorry.
Poop in the pit and fly away.
It's up to you, Jack. You can investigate further, or whatever you'd like to do.
Investigate further. Just the brief area around. Give it half an hour, then go.
Go ahead. Roll an investigation or insight. Or I think investigation is a 5th edition skill.
Ooh.
Yeah. You don't know. Someone made this trap. You're not sure who. You're sure it was for nefarious purposes, but that's all you can discern.
Go ahead and leave.
All right. Do you want to leave on foot or by wing?
By wing.
All right. So you transform back to your full raven form and begin flying to catch up with your friends, and eventually you do. When you get to them, you assume they have picked up your gear that you dropped when you transformed. Did you want to transform again or stay in raven form?
Sit on Alexander's shoulder.
Okay. Alexandra, you have a large raven now perched upon your shoulder.
Feed him a bit of rations.
It's not too much longer.
Forget he's naked under them feathers.
You can tell that the sun will be setting soon. But you begin to see to the right side of the trail, it gets colder and colder as you seem to be moving up and up in elevation. Let's see here. There must be an excellent description for this, I'm sure. Yes, the road branches north and climbs a rocky... I'm learning new words. A rocky escarpment? Is that what that says?
Yes.
All right. Yes. Vocabulary with Dungeons and Dragons. Thank you, Chris Perkins. The road branches north and climbs a rocky escarpment, ending at a gatehouse built into a 20-foot-high wall of stone reinforced with buttresses every 50 feet or so. The wall encloses a settlement on the side of a snow-dusted mountain spur. Beyond the wall, you see the tops of snow-covered pines and thin white wisps of smoke. The somber toil of a bell comes from a stone abbey that clings to the mountainside high above the settlement. The steady chime is inviting, a welcome change from the deathly silence and oppressive fog to which you have grown accustomed. It is hard to tell at this distance, but there seems to be a switchback road clinging to the cliffs that lead up from the walled settlement to the abbey. What would you like to do?
I'd like to say the road to the abbey.
If I take us too long into someone's evening, let me know. We started late. I'm going to carry us late if we can, unless someone says otherwise.
I can stay up as late as I need to.
I want to get stealthy and check out the road to the Abbey.
All right, it's quite a long road. If you're going alone, you'd be leaving your friends. Let them know what your intentions are and what they think about it before you take that journey.
Well, part of my fortune back when we had the old fortune teller was to seek out Vistani who wanders around in St. Markovia's Abbey, or near the Abbey. No, at the Abbey, yes. I need to go up there.
Well, it sounds like from the description, out of character, that the road up to the Abbey leads up from the settlement. So I think we have to go into the settlement to get to it anyway. So we could just go together for now. I think we're going to stay together to go to the Abbey.
Well, just to clarify the description, the road clinging to the cliffs that lead up from the walled settlement to the Abbey, since it's a switchback road, you think that maybe it's possible to get up to the Abbey without going through the town. It might require a bit of traversing some unpaved and untraveled ways, but it might be possible. At the very least, you think that the walls of the Abbey might have to be climbed to access it.
Okay, well, I would be down. We could all go to the Abbey together and start bypass the town for now too. If we could make the climb, all of us.
Jeeves is sure he can at least make the climb.
Yeah, I know Jeeves can.
Right.
And if you had rope, you think that maybe it could happen.
I do. I have rope.
I have rope.
I don't think Jeeves even needs rope, and the rest of us probably would.
No, but I can climb up and then drop you a rope.
Right.
Would Alex
Never
trust
go
anything that Jeeves drops,
Hey,
including yourself?
I'll drop a wrinkled finger on you.
Yeah, would you trust yourself, Alexandra?
No, she doesn't.
Yeah, she really doesn't right now.
Yeah, we had that long episode about
So
her
the
not
answer
trusting herself.
Is no, she will not trust herself. She will not trust anything that Jesus dropped. All right, so is that the plan, to bypass the town and go straight to the Abbey?
Well, seeing Jeeves' conviction to do so, and knowing that we need to be there anyway for the missing women, yeah.
All right.
We just rested anyway.
Would anyone like to disagree, or shall we just go ahead and proceed that way?
Well, Alex could definitely benefit from a short or long rest still, even with Elias's healing, but, I mean, that's what the plan is, so let's stick to it.
Elias.
Speaking of which, let me heal her some more, because it's not quite enough.
That's got to be enough.
I've got 27 wound points, but it is a lot better.
I'm
Thank
back.
you.
Welcome back, Jack. They have decided to bypass the village of Kresk and try to scale the walls of the Abbey and access it directly.
I don't think that's a terrific idea personally, but
Well, it seems split then. Jack, would you like to weigh in on this decision? You would be the tiebreaker.
I think if anyone should go ahead, it should be me. And if the rest of us, I think the rest of us should find another way. And by the way, that comes into everyone's head. So it doesn't necessarily sound like Jack.
So how are you communicating to everyone while you are a bird?
That would be with the first level class feature of the new class I just took.
Is this something you can cast? Can you cast magic from the form of a raven? Can you perform
Not magic, it's special ability.
Okay. Well, this is the first time they've experienced that, so explain it to them.
So we hear a voice that doesn't necessarily sound like Jack tell us this thing, right?
Logan?
Yeah.
So, Jack, you want to scout ahead?
Yes.
What would you like to scout, the Abbey or the town?
Abby.
All right.
And Elias looks startled and looks at the other party members and asks them, "Was that Jack as the Raven? Did you hear that?"
I heard it. I'm not sure. I couldn't say for sure if that's Jack or not. It didn't sound like him.
Well, he's gone now, so it must have been.
Okay, well, the road climbs 400 feet, doubling back on itself twice before reaching the Abbey itself. The switchback road that hugs the cliff is 10 feet wide and covered with loose gravel and chunks of broken rock. The ascent looks like it would be slow for your terrain traversing companions, and somewhat treacherous, actually. The air grows colder as you near the top, and as you fly over, you see there are several hunched back little tiny men, and an abbey that is vaguely in the shape of an L. It looks mostly abandoned, but there are signs of life within. To the north of it, there seems to be some kind of gardens. There seems to be a gatehouse. And where your friends would walk up, it seems like there would be a gate that would defend it. If they didn't want to scale the walls, they would have to traverse the gate that would normally greet people that would come up to the Abbey.
Any demons at the gate?
No demons, but you do. Jack does see a couple of these hunched little men.
Huh.
One appears to be asleep. The other one vaguely aware of its surroundings as it takes watch.
Hunched little men? Flea men?
I was picturing elderly monks myself, but maybe.
Do they look like monks?
Well, only Jack would be able to see, but from Jack's bird-eye view, these are squat men with short arms and shorter legs. They have hunchbacks, green cloaks, and they don't seem to be moving at the moment.
Fleabag.
That's what it sounds like.
Well, are we proceeding into the town then?
I'm waiting for hear what Jack's doing, I think.
He's just flying around in the Colt, 400 feet above you.
Whee! He's the three-eyed raven.
Wow.
It's true. I mean,
Well, I, for one, am not comfortable just sitting around here in the middle of this wooded area. Let's just head right into town.
yeah, well, that's what we're doing anyway, right? We're still moving.
So you want to forego Jack's scouting and just try to enter the town?
What was the agreed plan? Did he tell us to wait, or I don't remember.
You guys tell me.
No. Yeah, he just took off.
Yeah, he told us in bird talk that he was going up there, and
He said he was going ahead. He didn't tell us to wait specifically.
All right.
Let's
Well,
go.
you continue on. The road branches north and climbs a rocky escarpment, ending in a gatehouse built in a 20-foot-high wall of stone reinforced with buttresses. Every
Isn't
feet
this the same
50 feet or
thing?
so. The wall encloses a settlement on the side of a snow-dusted... Yeah,
This is
it
the
is.
same thing.
It's the same thing. I already told you this.
Yeah.
Yeah, the walled settlement of the Abbey looms ahead. Would you like to approach the gates?
You mean the town?
Yes.
Yeah, the gates of the town.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. The air grows colder as you approach the walled settlement. 2 square towers with peaked roofs flank a stone archway, into which a set of pair of 12-foot-tall, iron-bound wooden doors. Carved into the arch above the doors is the name Kresk. The walls that extend from the gatehouse are 20 feet high. Atop the parapet, you see 4 figures wearing fur hats and clutching spears. They watch you nervously.
Well met, gentlemen. We've traveled far. Might we gain entry?
No entry here.
Is there a particular reason?
We've only lived this long because of our defenses. We don't accept strangers. For all we know, you're vampires or werewolves.
We're neither.
We are actually slayers of vampires and werewolves, sir, and we seek to the eventual dethroning of Strahd. I have already taken some steps to do this.
Yes, well, enemies of Strahd aren't welcome here. They bring his wrath upon our town.
So you're like Valaki then, and keeping to yourself and a false sense of security.
I don't know what you mean, but your insults are not welcome, and neither are you. Please, go away.
This reminds me of out of character, the Monty Python scene with the French guys are like not letting you. I fought in your general direction, you know.
Yeah, they're gonna shoot cows over at you soon. Jack's trying to persuade something up in the Abbey where he's flying 400 feet away from everyone else.
I thought their hats were cute too. What a shame.
You are here with your horse and wagon.
Oh, speaking of which, sirs, Elias turns back to them. We bring you an actual crate of wine from the Blue Water Inn if you would take it. If we could at least give you that as a gift to allow us entry.
You see them start to talk amongst themselves, and they say, "From the Blue Water Inn, you mean from the Wizard of Wines?"
Yes, from the Wizards of Wine, indeed. We actually helped them save their winery from utter destruction of a giant possessed tree from the Druids.
Roll a persuasion, Brent.
Okay. Do.
Ouch.
I'll let you do that with advantage. I will say that your 2 companions are assisting you.
Okay. Probably are.
Yes.
That's much
There you
better.
go.
That's better.
You can
Still,
do it.
though, you see a bit of reluctance from the guard, but you see them say, "Hold on for a moment," and one of them climbs down. You can't see him anymore. As time is passing, did you guys want to do anything?
Ask them if they've seen a Vistani woman.
They say back, "No Vistani, welcome here. No one's welcome here."
Yeah, I don't think they allowed Vistani anywhere near the town here.
Mm. Okay. Let's see.
No spies for Strahd. No enemies of Strahd, and certainly no allies of Strahd are welcome here.
What is welcome there? The people that are already there, I suppose.
Wine! Wine is welcome here. The only reason
And
our
wine
doors
is what
exist.
we carry.
Yes.
Yes. Well, wait to see what the burgomaster says.
Thank you.
Seems to be taking quite a bit of time. Apparently someone's going off to ask the burgomaster about your arrival with wine.
Indeed.
Does Alexander have one of those little clicky tools to lure Jack back?
No.
Well, he should be circling back pretty soon, I think. What is Jack doing?
Looks like he's trying to persuade another bird to poop.
That's what I understand.
Ooh.
Now he's lost.
I see nothing.
Yes, looming high above Kresk, you see the abbey. Just out of the fog, you see it high above the town. It looks like it's on a much higher elevation than the town itself. So although they are right next to each other, the abbey is actually a lot higher than the village itself.
Gotcha. Yeah, I can picture that.
Circle around for another look. Please, be more circle around the abbey for another perception look? Okay.
Hey, there's 19.
You see that in one stained glassed, very religious looking area of the abbey that may be the main chapel, that some candlelight flickers beyond the stained glass. But other than that, from this vantage point, you really can't tell anything. You can see that there's more of these smaller hunchback people in the area. And then you might hear the vague sound of a violin playing. That's the most you can tell. Excellent roll of 19, though.
So the Castlevania 64 opening song is playing inside of Anthony.
Oh man, I've been slacking on music tonight, haven't I?
Well, you played some earlier before we started.
Why do I have these pots running? Let me find something else to play.
Wow.
I don't know. That was kind of indiscernible between the N64 opening theme and the Imperial March.
Yeah, I hadn't gotten very far yet. Give me a break.
Hey, the N64 game. I don't know.
That's the best thing about it.
I watched Mike Tendo's Castlevania, spelled CAT, because it's for an animal shelter funds. He played 12 hours worth of Castlevania recently, and he played that game. It was the first time I had actually seen someone play the 64 version of Castlevania.
Mike,
Yes.
you linked it to the PM with me. You didn't link it to the Ravenloft chat.
Well, that would probably make a difference on
Yeah.
whether it work or not. Let me try that again. Let's get some music up in here. All right, so eventually what you expect to be the burgomaster shows up at the top of the wall and says, "You bring wine from the Wizards of Wine, yes?
We do indeed, sir.
The hour grows late. If we let you in, do you seek shelter or would you be on your way?"
We would seek shelter if you would have us, sir. We have had a very long journey, and we do intend to give you this wine as a gift.
You would be opposing on my family and I. We have no inns here. We have no guests.
You would hardly notice us, I assure you. But we do appreciate your hospitality.
Roll a persuasion.
With advantage.
Never mind. I rolled a 1.
Okay.
He goes ahead and orders the guards to open the gates for you. And within, you see the village of Kresk. The mist-shrouded village beyond the wall is nothing more than a scattering of humble wooden cottages along dirt roads that stretch between strands of snow-dusted pine trees. So many trees, in fact, as to constitute a forest. To the northeast, gray cliffs rise sharply, and a road winding up to the abbey is easily to see from this vantage.
Uh-huh.
So it looks like inside the village it's even more directly connected to a more accessible route to the abbey. And he shows you in, eagerly accepting the barrel of wine, large barrel of wine that you've brought to him. Immediately, everyone that you see is rejoicing that the wine shipment, which has been apparently very late, has come to them. Although they celebrate the introduction of new wine into their small town, which seems more like a village, honestly, than a town, they eye you with suspicion and a tinge of fear that your presence could only bring trouble to these humble people that live within these walls.
Yeah, that road it mentions in the description there is what I thought it was talking about earlier when it says a road goes up from the settlement to the abbey. So that's not the same road we were talking about before that looked treacherous for us.
Oh,
Correct.
I can show you a map here. Hold on a second.
Okay.
That's the actual abbey. To show you a map of village. Here we go. Alright, welcome to the village of Kresk. What you see here includes both the Abbey of St. Markovia and the village itself. One is much higher than the other, of course, but the kind of L-shaped part in the upper right, that's the Abbey, and the heavily wooded area below that is encircled within walls is the town.
Okay, looks like they have a pond further to the north.
Yes, they do have a pool up at that end. However, it's hard for you to see that exactly from your vantage point down from the south at the gatehouse.
Yeah, I was just asking you because I'm sure we don't see that.
Right. The village of Kresk itself, of course, this high in the mountains, clouds are even more common, competing with the mist to obscure the land. So it's a wonder that you can actually see much of the abbey at all from this vantage point. But it does look like this place has walled off a forest. It looks like as you walk through, as the burgomaster leads you through this village, its narrow roads show you a village that looks completely independent, that it needs nothing from the outside world. The village works upon its own its livestock. It gets its own wood supply from these trees. Everyone seems to be extremely necessary in this community.
Gotcha.
They have no exports or money making, from what you had learned earlier. The only people they let in are that bring the wine. You see that it looks like they grow their own vegetables. The wood to heat their homes is here. You see chickens and pigs. And these villagers have cows and mules, but there are no horses. It looks like they have no reason to travel. Being that there's no inns or taverns, the burgomaster actually leads you to his own personal home.
What a droll, isolated little village, she says quietly to her friends.
I suppose it is a bit admirable that a place could be this way and flourish as it has.
There is something to be said about being self-sustaining, but completely cut off from the rest of the land.
Yes, I think the way they have managed it is preferable to how Valaki was being handled, but at the same time,
Blair at Elias.
No, I don't. Okay, Livy.
Well, Alexandra, would you prefer to rest some first, or shall we head up to the Abbey?
I suppose we could head up to the Abbey. I am feeling a great deal better, but I could be better still.
The burgomaster leads you to his humble home, and he says, We are not used to guests, but we will welcome you here. If you need a place to stay, we have one bedroom. Some may have to sleep on the floor, you understand.
Please
That is
don't
fine.
burden yourself.
He looks at you quizzically, as if wondering how you're not a burden to him.
As in going out of his way to entertain them as guests.
You feel like you're burdensome in every way that he can communicate to you, without being overly rude about it. But you can tell that you're imposing, that this house is someone's home, and him and his family, which he introduces you to. He introduces you to his wife. Before you came in, you saw a few gravestones to the side of the house, and he introduces you to his son, which he's very proud of.
Get a good look at the son, see if there's anything different about him as far as his composure or anything magical about him.
Roll a perception check.
All of us?
Just Brent.
Okay.
You're pretty confident that the kid looks completely normal.
All right. Well, aside from seeing that, Elias will ask him, Sir, besides the Abbey, is there a church in town or a holy man?
No one holy here. This place is not practicing in any particular religion, although we do feel the blessings of God upon this place. We do not hold a church. The only church here would be the Abbey of St. Markovia, of course, but we don't visit the place.
What can you tell me of the Abbey? What recent stories or news do you have of its condition?
Well, many years ago, they say that the St. Markovia himself had established the Abbey, and he preached God's word there, of course, but when he decided to take some of our villagers and those faithful that lived there in the Abbey, they decided to try and confront Strahd directly. It did not end well for them. The Abbey was abandoned for many long years. The keepers of the Abbey, we don't know what happened to them, but the abbot eventually showed up. We asked no questions, and he seemed to want to answer none. He went up to the Abbey and seemed to take it over, but we don't bother him. He doesn't bother us. We hear odd sounds, many wailing voices, and we just choose to ignore it.
Can you describe this abbot to me?
This is not an easy thing to do. He's not even sure it's a he, to be honest. The Abbey is terrifying. Just some other being from another world. But his intentions seem good. He brought my son back. I'll owe him forever for that, but I would not dare to venture up and ask him for anything more. I'm not even sure if I can repay his goodwill with what he's tasked me to do after raising my son back from his...
Brought your son back? Was he
Yes.
dead?
As my son fell ill, he was the last of the line from my family. I've had 4 other sons before him perish. The abbey...
You have my sympathies, sir.
The abbot said that it's God's will that my family continue the line to tend the people of Kresk.
Did you see how he did this?
It seemed only natural to him. He simply raised his arms and it happened.
Did you cut out there, Mike, or did he just say that he raised his arms?
That's it. That's all he did.
Wow.
He didn't even speak a prayer. It just simply occurred. My son was back to me. That's all I ever wanted. My gratitude is complete and whole, but he asked for a wedding dress, and we have no seamstress here that can produce anything of the quality that he wishes. We don't know what to do. And he said that the wrath of God would befall my village if we did not produce one for him. You don't happen to know where we could find a wedding dress, do you?
No, I do not, sir.
The Kreskov line depends on it, so I'm afraid we may have to send someone outside the walls to find one.
Well, we plan on visiting with this abbot, and perhaps we could find out more of his need and what his need truly would be.
Actually, Jeeves,
Yes.
you did go exploring the Baron's Manor back in Balaki, didn't you? Their
Briefly.
private bedroom.
Yes. Yes, I believe I did. I explore many rooms. It's hard to keep track.
Assuming that the Baroness has a wedding dress to spare.
Would we roll for that, or what?
I'm just saying, good job, April and Mark. You may investigate a lot of places, but she remembers them better than you do.
I know. Thank God.
Details are my thing.
I'm glad.
Good job, April.
Thank you. We may yet be able to obtain a wedding dress for you.
If you would escort our people to, or we would rather stay here, honestly. If you could bring that to us, it would make me feel eternally grateful.
Can you guarantee a safe passage to and from your town at will?
If you bring a wedding dress here, you are as good as residents as far as I'm concerned. Although, I must stress this, it's extremely important. Our town has survived by not bringing attention to ourselves from any of Strahd's minions, vampires, werewolves, and the sort. We wish to have none of that here, so if you are enemies of Strahd, you must understand that if you bring that here, you could spell the entire destruction of our small village. I understand your cat language, but I must tell you to go and seek attention from the meow meow, not from the daddy. So go forth, lucky kitty. Get your little paws back into the things it belongs, and not in my D&D game. Good God, he was vocal. He's still right here too. You won't leave. Come here. Come here, you big fatty. Okay. All right, Lucky. You can play the role of the village cat.
Okay, shall we do a short rest or a long rest then?
Sure.
Did you guys want to sleep here in the Burgermaster's mansion?
Isn't everyone
This isn't really a
still
mansion.
rested?
Well, actually, Jack, you're still flying around the Abbey. Would you like to return to your friends?
Actually, I want to go in for as close a look I can and investigate as best I can as a bird.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, but earlier actually he put in the chat that he wanted to get closer to the violin sound and see if he could investigate it.
Awesome. All right. The gentle sound of music trickles down from above at your vantage point. It's played on a single string instrument of some unseen master. You can glide down. There is a chimney that is not currently lit by any kind of active fire. Think you could find your way down that and into this place if you wish. Whatever dangers or treasures may lurk beyond it, you don't know.
Alright, make the attempt.
Alright, well, you swoop down the chimney and out the fireplace. The ground floor here is one large 50-foot square room with arched, leaded glass windows. A cauldron sits on an iron rack above a fire, or above the hearth where the fire would normally be. Above the fireplace mantle hangs a golden disc engraved with the symbol of the sun. In one corner, a wooden staircase climbs to the upper level, while in another corner, a stone staircase descends into darkness. Several chairs surround a wooden table that stretches nearly the length of the room. Wooden dishware and gold candelabras are neatly arranged on the table, standing behind which is a young woman with an alabaster skin dressed in a torn and soiled red gown. Her auburn hair neatly bundled as not to touch her soft shoulders. She seems lost in her own thoughts.
Good night.
Does she resemble anyone we're looking for thus far?
Let me see. No, she doesn't.
Gertruda had dark hair.
Yeah, and Lisa was blonde like Alexander.
Roll a perception check.
And before the other group takes its short rest, with the Burgermaster being dismissed from the party and us to ourselves in the bedroom, Elias will say to Jeeves and Alexandra that he has his suspicions that the person running this abbey, the abbot himself, sounds suspiciously like our vampire friend.
Of course he does, and I have every intention of investigating Elias. But if I go there, I want to go at full capacity.
Yes, I'm just voicing my concern that we should not so soon deliver this wedding dress to them, because I think that would be his goal, would be to marry off himself to Lisa and have some form of dark ritual or whatever the hell he wants to do.
What makes you so sure that she's around here?
She was rumored to be. I think Ismark himself had said something about it.
What was that, sorry?
Could you
I was
repeat
just saying that I'm concerned that the abbot himself might actually be Strahd, given the strength and the power that he seems to have, and also Lisa rumored to be around here, and also him wanting a wedding dress. So I just think that might be who it is. Out of character, I think it's probably Dracula, but as far as Elias knows, it could be Strahd.
Strahd was having just as much difficulty finding her as we were.
Yeah. I don't know, but whoever this is some unnaturally powerful person. I've never heard of anyone raising someone from the dead with a mere raising their arms.
Hence why we should investigate. And the sooner we sleep, the sooner we can.
Indeed. I just wanted to make sure it was understood not to help them with the dress so soon. Okay, sorry, Jack, Mike, do your thing.
Jack, you're quite perceptive. You notice that this woman has been stitched together from the parts of other women. She's been exquisitely put together. Her powdered skin covers mostly where her disparate body parts are conjoined.
What is it with Barovian villains and like doll girls?
Oh, this doll
Has
is
she noticed me at all?
she seems to be staring straight ahead.
She doesn't look... Okay, no, of course not. She looks like someone else.
She actually
Let's try and...
She actually kind of looks like your friend Alexandra, vaguely.
Oh, good God.
Oh, Lord.
If you were to, you know, grab 100 villagers, hack them apart, and put them together to look like Alexandra, it might be her.
Message her, awakened mind. Lisa? Question mark?
You receive no reply.
Hop down the stairs.
Into the darkness.
Yep.
Alright. I have seemed to fail to understand my maps. What the hell? Okay. There's a second map. Oh, that's higher. Okay, yeah, so the two stairs, one leads higher and one leads lower. The higher one had the music, the lower one goes into darkness. Okay, I just need to take a moment to read, I guess. Hold on, let me read this a little bit more carefully. Area S16. Where is that? Oh, okay. I found it. Alright, the stone steps descend 20 feet into a cellar that contains 10 barrels of wine and an L-shaped wooden rack packed with wine bottles.
Well, there's wine for the town.
What would you like to do?
Jack.
Investigation.
Ooh.
You see that some of the wine bottles on the rack, among the wine bottles, there's one with no stopper and a label that reads Champagne du l'Estampe and contains a rolled up spell scroll. Roll an arcane check, Arcana. Let's see. You think that this spell might have something to do with bolstering someone's abilities. But that's all you can tell at this point.
Take it in my beak, hop back up, and hop out the window with it if I...
Okay, so you're going to retreat with the loot that you've managed to gather?
Plan is to stash it and then return to explore more.
The plan is to stash it where?
Under a rock, who knows? I'll find a place.
Just somewhere outside?
I have no other way to keep it.
And then you're going to do... Where are you going to travel to if you stash it?
Actually, that's probably a dumb idea. So, I guess hop back up and leave it in a little corner on the ground floor. A little corner nearby the staircase, so I don't have to go by the creepy Frankenstein girl again.
So you're leaving it by the upper staircase that leads up towards the music? Or are you leaving it maybe by the fireplace that you swept through? Or somewhere outside?
Yeah. By the chimney. Just if I can tuck it somewhere out of the way.
Okay. Well, you flutter up, scroll in hand, or in birdie feet, and the eyes of the woman never really even focus on you as you take the scroll and tuck it away close to the fireplace somewhere. After that, you fly up the chimney and out, and you don't see your friends anywhere where you left them. They appear to be gone.
No, after I stashed it, I was going to go ahead and look upstairs.
Oh, okay. In that case, you follow the sound of music. Let's see.
I will be right back really quick.
Okay. One of the things about that I'm just not the best about is following maps from one point to another, especially in this campaign. So please be patient with me when I try to do that. S17. Let's see, where is that? Probably on the second map. Which, of course, there's no link to. Okay. Should we wait for April? Or I would like to wait. Just so she can hear what's going on.
Yeah.
Seems like a pretty tense moment, so yeah.
I'm back.
All right. Well, Jack, in raven form, flies up the wooden stairs that climb 20 feet to a loft with a pitched roof and a door in the center of the south wall. Unlit lanterns hang from the rafters, and a rope dangles from a bronze bell lodged in the belfry 30 feet overhead. The room is filled with the sound of beautiful music, a melody so enchanting that it adds a bit of much-needed warmth to this otherwise freezing room. A black shroud covers a humanoid shape lying on a wooden table. The music does nothing to stir it. A cot heaped with furs rests in the northeast corner, surrounded by empty wine bottles. An oil lamp burns atop a table nearby, silhouetting a squat creature with a hunched back. It sits on the edge of a cot with a violin between its legs, and it is bowing this instrument. It grabs the neck of it while running its bow across its strings. The music produced from its bow and his fingers is quite elegant for such a horrible-looking little hunchbacked man. He doesn't seem to notice your birdie presence. Totally enraptured in his music. The empty containers of wine around him make you think that maybe he's had a bit to drink.
Land somewhere out of the way, and then awakened mind to his. I am your conscience.
He stops playing his music and begins to look around. He rolled a natural 20 and he spots the raven. He hops over to you. Your stealth does no good. Natural 20, buddy. He's all over you.
Yeah, I know, I got it.
He takes a few short hops, 2 forward, 1 backward, and then 1 long one right in front of you. And he tilts his head and says, "Funny little bird."
Ah!
Flea man.
Very talented flea man.
Yeah, I thought so, man. But for the sway suit. Funny little man?
Were you speaking to him with your mind again?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
Funny little man.
Funny little bird. Would you like a
Funny
drink?
little man. No, considering the only reason I'm here is what you've drunk so far.
So you have come to hear me play?
Yes. You should know very well that birds don't talk.
Of course they don't. And he begins playing his violin again, directly to you, hoping to get a reaction, obviously.
React, not a whit. But I am very good at listening if you had something to talk about. Even though, in all likelihood, I'm probably just drunk in fantasy.
He doesn't say anything audibly. Is there any way for you to hear his thoughts?
No, I don't think so.
Yes, at this point, he's talking to the voice in his head with the voice in his own head.
Damn it. It's easier to hear if you say out loud. After all, when was the last time you had proper conversation?
He continues to play. It becomes quite a jovial tune, even for being this this mournful instrument that was previously pouring such a beautiful melancholy tune. He's now switching to a lighter mood, more entertained by the company that he's found within his own head. And he says out loud, he says, "I wish they would all just starve. Starve to death."
Starve who?
all the miserable bastards like me that are stuck here. With no purpose.
Without Master?
Oh, Master is great. We all love Master. But they all love food. Why is it me that has to take care of the rest? Can't the abbot see that I'm special?
Abbott? Question mark?
Yes, the abbot, of course.
I've seen no Abbott.
Well, my little birdie friend, would you like to see the abbot?
Certainly.
If the abbot cared anything for the music that I play, I'm sure that he would listen more intently. You can fly around and find him for yourself if you want to.
By all means.
What being could possibly care for the singing of one small violin when it has heard the chorus of angels and that of God's voice himself?
God's voice? Angel?
Yes, little birdie. Don't you know that there is heaven here in this hell?
Heaven to me is worms.
He stops playing and walks over to a bottle of wine and begins just chugging it down. You think that the small stature of the man, it wouldn't be too easy. It wouldn't be too hard to inebriate him.
Yes, drink more so I can stay long.
He walks over to a chair, kicks it out, and then puts his feet on the desk. He says, "You're no normal birdie, are you?"
No, I think I've implied that I'm something of a drunken hallucination.
I have had many nights of drunken bliss with no talking ravens.
Better wine.
This is the same old wine that we always get from the village. They could
Yes,
produce no better.
But you've had this longer, so it's fermented more.
For a strange bird, you make good sense.
I am a drunken hallucination, but I am some company.
Well, how about you spy on her guest? Tell me if she's undressing or anything.
Well, I could, but you'd have to go look, given that I'm a drunken hallucination.
I'm sure she would make sure I wouldn't see the light of day again if I was to peep on her. But if you're just a simple, innocent bird, you can tell me all of the great little details that I wish to know.
Well, I suppose I could try, but I'm not sure how. It really depends on your imagination.
I'm not going to describe exactly what the flea man begins to do. But you can tell his imagination begins working quite strongly.
Hop down the stairs, then hop back. Get very poetic because Jack does not give a fuck. Describe the feel of her skin and how her alabaster complexion makes her look like lovely, lovely marble.
You hear, "Ew, gross! Not her, the other guest."
Which guest? I would need direction.
It's the one that wasn't cobbled together.
I'm only an imaginary bird. I don't know what guest you mean. You'll have to be more specific, like the direction you would find her.
You know, for a hallucination that doesn't exist in my own mind, you sure do have a lot of problems trying to find the thing that I'm thinking about.
You clearly have a lot of problems yourself. You're talking to an imaginary bird.
He kind of sobers up for a moment and considers the truth of your statement. You see at that point he starts to put his violin away and stands up and begins to walk downstairs.
Let him pass?
Yes, well, as a
Follow
raven,
along
I don't
after
think
him.
you could stop him very much. He begins to traverse a curtain wall. Scarecrows line these abbey walls looking outward. They wear tattered chain shirts and carry spears with rusty heads. The courtyard below is blanketed with fog. And he seems to be making his way onto another segment of the L-shaped area.
Hop along.
Now that you're exposed and out in the air, that you've come with him. He seems to kind of be trying to sober himself up and try to see if you're actually a real bird or not, and reason with this voice in his head.
If you're trying to talk to me, I'm sorry, but the alcohol is how we converse.
I don't trust you, bird. I think that you're
You're talking to a bird.
You're not a bird. You are more bird than bird.
Are you listening to yourself?
I am doing many things with myself, but trusting you is not one of them.
About appropriate.
All right. Well, while this flea man and the were-raven are conversing, what is everyone else doing?
We were hoping to get that rest in so we could then go up to the Abbey and meet up with Jack ourselves.
All right. So if you're going to take a short rest, it will give Elias an opportunity to further explore the Tomb of Strahd, but I have to say that... Yeah, that too. I have to say that giving Jack free reign over the night, he won't be joining you on his rest. He'll be continuing his exploration, no matter where that leads. You'll be asleep.
That's true.
So, is everyone sharing the same intentions that Alexandra has?
Yep.
Were we doing short or were we doing long?
That's up to you guys. You tell me what you want to do.
I don't need anything, so I could even go up after Jack right now,
Right.
and we just have Alexandra rest and with Jeeves, if we want.
Leaving her alone with him is probably not a good idea. Just saying.
Jeeves, what would you like to do?
I'm curious to stay, but I'm good to go. I don't need to rest.
So, Alexandra, your companions seem to be getting ready to check out the Abbey. What are you going to do?
Well, she might as well head along with them then.
Roll a will check. Will save.
Oh, God.
A check or save?
A save.
Alexandra, you should rest. You have not had much time to recover yourself in all this.
I am a little tired.
Alexandra, roll a will save.
I can't find my dice.
You want me to do it?
Yes, please.
Alright.
They're buried under all the maps.
If you just hit your character sheet, it should show back up. You got a +3 if you just want to roll a d20 and add 3 to it.
Yeah, hold on. Sorry, did you say wisdom or?
Yeah,
Well, he said willpower, but I think that's the
same
same
thing.
Yeah.
I'm too old. Yeah, Alexandra, you're fine with going with your friends if you'd like.
Yeah.
Although you feel a little tempted to stay behind and see what this family's all about.
Elias encourages her to rest because he's concerned about Jack as well, but he knows that Alexandra needs the time for herself.
It's ultimately her decision, though.
Right.
Fine, she'll rest.
Good. Mr. Jeeves, you?
I'm good to go.
Alright. Let's see what Jack's gotten into.
Okay. You, not far from where you're at, you discover a pool and a shrine. Even under the gray skies before the sun sets, this pool at the north end of the village shimmers and sparkles. Near its shore sits an old gazebo on the verge of collapse. A wooden statue of a mournful, bare-chested man is painted, chipped, and faded. It stands in the gazebo with arms outstretched, as though waiting to be embraced.
Very curious.
Should we give him a hug?
So, could we roll perception to see if we can tell anything else about the lake and the figure?
Sure.
All right.
Elias, you see that this pool must be fed by some kind of underground spring, and you feel that looking upon this water feels like it is, I want to say holy water, but blessed in a way that seems eternal, as if as long as this natural well gives water, then there will be some amount of blessing given at this spring. The waters seem pure, untouched by evil.
Could Elias examine the water to see if he can tell if it's holy water or not?
How do you want to examine it?
Would that be religion check?
Sure. Just describe how you would like to investigate this water.
He would just lean down to it and cup it in his hands and remember back to the holy water he's handled before and try to see if he could feel the power from it.
Yeah, when you dip your hands in the water, you feel an urge to drink the water. It looks like the most pure water you've ever seen, ever touched. It reminds you of when you were first baptized.
So...
The gazebo, on the other hand, looks so frail that it wouldn't take more than a strong wind to knock it over.
Well, we don't have much reason to knock it over. Elias will leave the water as it is, and motion to Jeeves to continue on.
Okay.
Ever since that you've been in the land of Barovia, you've felt a disconnection between yourself and God. But when you stand at this pool, you feel as if that presence is back with you. As soon as you step away from the pool, that presence is gone. You feel disconnected once again.
So Elias stops in his tracks and turns his head halfway backwards as he feels this. And seems to change his mind and produces a... Do I have any... Yes, I have a water skin in my inventory. I'm going to empty that of whatever's in there and fill it up with that.
Okay. You have a water skin full of this water.
Jeeves, would you like to do the same? I would not recommend it. I feel something special from this pool.
Sure, I trust you. So yeah, I'll do the same with my water skin.
Sure. And geez, as you go down and bend down to fill your water skin, you see the reflection of your own face in this pool. It makes you reflect on who you've been all your life, and maybe perhaps what you could be. You fill the water skin full of this water and stop the cork. Although there is something pulling at you to take a taste of what you've just drawn for yourself.
I'm so tempted.
You're almost afraid at what you think might happen if you were to drink this water. You're not sure if that's a fear of judgment, of forgiveness, of not being worthy of doing it, or if it's simply fear of maybe some kind of deception.
Jeeves, do you feel the same compelling desire, the need to drink this water?
I do. And I may just, I may take a sip.
Well, I feel the presence of God here, so I will be the tester. I will do this. If you see something amiss, then hurry me back to the Burgomaster's house and we'll deal with it as we can.
Okay.
Elias will take a sip of the water.
The water tastes sweet and fresh. It is the most pure thing that has ever touched your lips. It almost brings a tear to your eye. Everything that you've ever transpired in your life, you feel that you can leave here on the shore of this small pool. And when you walk away, you know that you could feel as if you were fresh and clean of all your sins.
So how was the water?
It is as if the very waters of life that wash over sinners to forgive them, Jeeves. I don't know how else to describe it. It is quite amazing. I can scarcely believe it even exists in Barovia. It's quite a paradox.
Maybe I'll save it for later.
Yes, that would be quite the ad campaign for selling water, wouldn't it? All right, well, let's be off then. As much as I hate to leave this very interesting place.
All right, up the winding road to the Abbey you go then. Let's see here. You guys think you have a lot of windows open that are hard to navigate through? I do too. Let's see here. Four maps all for one small area. The road from the village climbs above the mist to the wide ledge on which the abbey is perched. A light dusting of snow covers the trees and the rocky earth. Have I already read this? I don't think so. The gravel road passes between two small stone outbuildings to either side, which stretches a 5-foot-high, 3-foot-thick wall of jumbled stones held together with mortar. Blocking the road are iron gates attached to the outbuildings on rusty hinges. They appear to be unlocked. Viewed through the gates, the stone abbey stands quiet. Its two wings are joined by a 15-foot-high curtain wall. A belfry produces from the rooftop of the closer north wing, which also sports a chimney blowing gray smoke.
So somebody's home.
It would appear so. We don't have any sight of the hunched over man outside.
Alexandra, now that you're nice and alone with this vulnerable family, please roll another wisdom save.
Vulnerable family.
Oh God.
Yes, you seem to still have control of yourself.
My.
Maybe we should have brought her with us.
And you wanted to leave her alone.
What is Alexandra thinking at the moment?
She wants to find out more about how this kid just magically was brought back to life with no side effects whatsoever and is leading a perfectly normal life,
Imagine she's jealous.
among other things.
Jack, your company with the strange hunched little man.
Did you apply the rest? Like,
No, but if I apply the rest, it would happen for all players.
oh, okay.
You can manually do it. I guess you're just seeking hit points. Is that what it is? Or
Yeah.
all of your stuff from your previous adventure in the land
Well,
of
a
the
short
dead?
rest. Well, a short rest would restore all of my dice too. So yeah, I can just uncheck them manually though and heal the hit
I
points
think
myself.
not enough time has passed since your friends have left you that I could even apply a short rest at this time. That would take probably about 4 hours, and they've only been gone a few minutes. So although you wish to rest, you're still restless, as the thoughts of how this kid returned to life and is seemingly just fine sets heavily on your mind. All right, Jack Motley, you are on the parapets of this this abbey with this strange man, this odd little musician, who has been talking to you about the abbot. As far as you can tell, the abbot is someone who doesn't appreciate his music because he's heard far greater music that the small little man could ever produce.
So which way is the blonde cat?
Oh, are you ready to do a little peeping for me?
Of course, I told you I would if you pointed out which direction. I may be imaginary, but I'm not magic.
Alright. Let me look through my DM maps for a moment, since there are so many of them.
I didn't think this place would be that huge, to be honest.
It's not. That's the silly thing about it.
It's just that they're segmented, right? You know?
Right, there's multiple floors of this abbey. Well, there's 2 floors of this abbey, and then there's the town, and then there's DM maps and player maps, and then there's descriptions for each one, and I have to find out where this woman is. The little man says that the guest is staying in the barracks at the moment. And he points at the door immediately to... well, if you were to continue walking down the parapets, the curtain wall, it would lead to the door that he's pointing at. It's not very far away at all.
Okay.
Alright, and as you get to the first door, he says, "No, not that one." And then you pass that door and go to the next one. The door is closed before you, and you don't think as a raven you could access it without transforming.
Let me double check one thing.
I can only play for a few more minutes, guys. That'll be it for me.
Well, let's see what.
Okay. Walk up to the door. Drop a sorcery point for subtle spell.
Not sure what that is, but you can describe it to me.
It lets me turn into mist and float through a door, and float 30 feet in any direction.
And can you cast that as a raven?
With subtle spell, I can. By dropping a sorcery point, I can cast a spell without any verbal or somatic component.
All right, I'll allow that. So you want to go from raven form to mist form?
Uh-huh.
All right. With that, you can definitely fit underneath the door.
Float in.
All right. Bunk beds that have disintegrated with age lie in heaps along the walls of this moldy 30-foot square room. It looks like maybe guards were used to be housed here to defend the walls of this place. However, they offer no quarter at this point. Instead, what you notice resting here is this woman.
The Order of Ecclesia shop lady?
Jack thinks to himself, I'd know that rack anywhere.
This definitely looks like the person that Van Richten was describing to you.
Hop around her.
She takes notice of you and is quite curious. She extends a finger out as if she wants you to land on it like some kind of Disney princess.
Do so.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
You do so, and then she grabs your entire form with her other hand, quicker than you can react. She currently has your head within her hand. She could snap your neck at the moment.
Good job, Jack.
And that's where we'll end for the night.
Which really sucks because I won't be here next week.
Oh.
Oh, man. Well, this is about
Great.
to get really interesting.
Well, it might take us the whole session to get to where you are anyway.
I'll let you have one retort. You can use. You were not a bird when I said that. That's my mistake. So I'll backtrack a little bit and say that you're missed and you see this woman. You did say that you're hopping around though.
Yes, that's because I did intend. That being said, does she feel warm when she grabs me? Her hand.
She does. She's not instantly snapping your neck, but you can tell that.
Message into her mind. Van Richten sent me.
With that, she will loosen her grip and set you down on the bed next to her. And that's where we'll stop for the night. Not such in a threatening manner.
Okay, I'm much happier with that.
Yeah, how dare you rob me of my cliffhanger, sir?
Sorry. Like I said, the only way I might be here for a little while is Discord, maybe.
Well, that's fine. I will prepare in a way that your presence isn't absolutely necessary. I hope that you can join us as always. But if you can't, hey, it's haunt season. It's Halloween. Enjoy it the best way.
That's exactly why I can't. I might be in makeup.
And that's.
Or I might be working. I'm not sure.
If I could choose to be there instead, I might choose to do this another night if I could haunt once again. But yeah. Best of luck haunting and happy Halloween. Hopefully we'll have another session before then. Let's see what the schedule looks like. I'll look at my calendar. Yeah, next week is our only show before Halloween starts. So the Tuesday after that is Halloween. Sorry we'll miss you, man. But don't worry about us. We'll catch you up. We'll keep it all recorded.
Well, actually, there's a really easy way for me to not be necessary, and I'll
What's
message
that?
you about it. Facebook.
Okay. All
Actually,
right.
I don't suppose it matters. Well, there are two. Number one, full moon. Number two, there's always the chance I could be stuck as a raven.
Yeah, I was waiting all night for you to try to switch out of it so you can make a roll for that. Do you want to make it now?
why don't this time we just assume that I'm going to try, and if I can be here, then if I can be here this time, let's assume I can transform back, and if I can't, then I can't. Does that sound simpatico?
As long as you're okay with the consequences of not being able to turn back into a human, sure.
Like for
Yeah, I think I'll have many.
You don't know how
Many,
permanent that is. That might
You're
last
right, I don't.
decades.
I'm kind of assuming it's not, but like I said,
All you've noticed is that every time that you've turned from a raven back into a human, it's been harder and harder each time.
oh, this could be fine. Okay.
So you want to roll for that now?
While you're here, might as well get it
What's
out
the
of the way.
roll?
Just make a wisdom roll. A wisdom saving roll. Alright.
Oh,
Ouch!
Excellent. That's a failure. But what does a failure mean? You don't know. I'll tell you more later. Now that's the cliffhanger. See you next
Can he
time.
use luck points for that too?
Yeah, I guess.
I could, but
You
I
want
might
to.
next.
Yeah, he could, but will he want to burn one?
Yeah, you'll want to. I promise you.
Bloody hell.
Hmm.
Ugh.
I'm not going to tell you there.
Works for me.
Alright. We'll leave it there. And I'll see
There's a
everyone next
cliffhanger. You got your cliffhanger back, Mike.
week. Yeah, rolling the 10. That's perfect.
I hope you're happy.
Do you not have any willpower? No, you have no bonuses.
Plus
Excellent.
0.
Oh. Alright. Well, thank you everyone
And I
that
play it
is,
like
is
I don't.
listening in the future. It's been a good episode. I'll see everyone on our Halloween episode next time.
Bye, everybody.
Okay.
everyone.
See ya.